Hell yes! Hell yes! It has happened again, folks. Don't let anyone tell you that manifestation is a bunch of woo, because clearly enough of us have put pictures of the Ever Given up on our vision boards that it has happened once again. The Suez Canal is blocked. International shipping has been crippled. The fall of capitalism is at hand.
Yes.
Or at least that was the case for, I don't know, a couple hours, a little bit.
Yeah.
Earlier this week. Another big boat got stuck, but they were able to get it unstuck, and everything's back to normal again. And this is just like what happened last year when that other boat got stuck and we all got excited for Ever Given Part 2, only to immediately be disappointed at the...
They're getting too good at freeing these ships.
Yeah, it's too bad.
Well, I just want to point out that it is very funny that our collective consciousness has turned ships getting stuck in a canal that no one even thought of prior to a couple years ago into a massive community event.
Yeah.
It's something to look forward to. Whenever it happens, it's always a joy, not for anyone involved, but for everyone watching safely thousands of miles away.
I've always got the Suez on my mind.
I do. The best meme I saw, too, is like America infrastructure or whatever, train derailment every like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and then another ship stuck in the canal? Ooh, I like this.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's something to talk about.
That
Something
isn't,
to enjoy.
yeah, that isn't horrific.
It's a narrow corridor of water that half the world depends on for basic goods that can be completely blocked off for extended periods of time by just one big boy going this way
sideways
instead of this way.
Yeah, a little drifting.
So yeah, it'll probably keep happening, but they'll probably keep fixing it really fast before anyone even has a chance to enjoy it.
I feel like if a ship, I know this, they take it way more seriously than this, but being a ship captain, it has to be increasingly more embarrassing to have this happen. Like before, it's just like, oh no, this is a horrific experience, a once in a lifetime blunder. And now, if it happens, you're just like, oh my God, Jesus, I really biffed this one.
I mean, it looks like everyone gets a shot at blocking the Suez now. They're doing it in solidarity.
That's true.
They probably, when they're going through it, like the guy on the wheel turns to the captain, like, just kidding.
We're all having fun here.
So yeah, I guess that's all the nautical news that we have for you this week. Back to the land news now.
No, Elliot, no, please. That is not all of the nautical news that we have.
Back to the sea with us.
In fact, we have another callback, an update to last week's nautical news. Some of the best nautical news that we've been enjoying for quite a while.
Ahoy, ahoy.
Here's Reuters with the story. Killer whales severely damaged a sailing boat off the coast of southern Spain, the local Maritime Rescue Service said on Thursday, adding to dozens of orca attacks on vessels recorded so far this year on Spanish and Portuguese coasts. In the early hours of Thursday, a group of orcas broke the rudder and pierced the hull after ramming into the Mustique on its way to Gibraltar, prompting its crew of 4 to contact Spanish authorities for help, a spokesman for the Maritime Rescue Service said. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm a sicko and I love this.
Friendship ended with Suez Canal. Now Orca is my best friend.
And look, I love again, another great example of community engagement from afar.
Yeah.
Everyone that has absolutely no involvement firsthand with this is having the best time with it.
Yeah, there's absolutely no reason that I would ever have to travel by sea through the Strait of Gibraltar. So this is like TV for me.
It's fantastic. Put up a live webcam, a whole feed.
Yeah.
In every part of it.
And that's another one. I mean, not as narrow as the Suez, but if you look at a map of the Mediterranean, getting in and out, you either come through the Suez, which is really, really narrow, or the only other way is through the Strait of Gibraltar, which also pretty damn narrow. If there's a gang of orcas sitting in that area, you can't really go around them.
Earth bites back. And I like that it is probably, at this point, nerve-wracking to make this journey.
It's exciting. For the first time in ages, this is the kind of shit back in the day when we sailed ships, we were scared for our lives.
Yes.
We were terrified. There were krakens, there were sirens.
Exactly.
And then things got a little too easy, but we're back, baby.
These are the stories that fantasies were literally written about.
Yeah.
If this was in the pre-technological times, this would be a tale that was the most overblown.
We were attacked by monsters,
Yes.
dozens of them.
Yes, coordinated.
Their skin as dark as night.
You wouldn't believe it. It's amazing. We're living through a renaissance of animal attacks, and I am here for it.
We're back. And yeah, we did
We're
have...
so fucking back.
This happened so quickly after we last talked about it that we had to double check.
Yeah.
Was this just the news getting repeated? No, this is in fact a new example of orcas off the southern coast of Spain attempting to murder a boat. On top of all the examples we talked about last week. Sky News quotes one of the sailors describing this latest incident as it happened. It's like they are biting it apart. What started off as a seemingly unique encounter ended with orcas breaking off our rudder from the boat, then proceeding to tear bits off the boat for an hour. Whew! And yeah, it's still unclear exactly why the orcas are doing this. There was that other...
Because it's fun.
They said maybe it was one of the orcas, like Big Frida or something like that, was...
Okay. That would be New Orleans famous.
Yeah, New Orleans trans rapper. It wasn't Big Frida. It was like something like that. They said it might be a revenge for Big Frida getting chopped up or something. But a lot of theories. But yeah, they seem to be doing it at an ever increasing pace. When we talked about this last week, it was like, yeah, they've been like messing with boats for 3 years, but like they've started getting more aggressive, and it's like this is now. Seems to be happening on like a weekly basis.
One of the even before this hit the news, one of the funnier things from this week was a news article that was making the rounds about how Jeff Bezos' super yacht had finally been finished and he had taken operation of it.
Orcas?
And, yeah, you have the chance to do the funniest thing possible right now.
Put it up on your vision boards, folks.
Yeah.
The secret is real.
It is. We are doing the secret live.
Yeah, let's get, and you know what, the orcas, this is a win that they deserve. They need a win, and so far, they're winning in this war against boats that they've, I guess, decided to wage.
Yeah, as we said on yesterday's episode, we are taking like a week off next week, so we'll be back, June 7th or whatever. But I'm excited to see how many orca attacks happen.
What will the orcas destroy next?
The Titanic, and a whole cruise ship.
I mean, it's just a shame that orcas, they're big, but they're not big enough to really, fuck shit up.
Well,
they need to send a signal to their friends, the humpback whales.
Yes. They need to group up with the rest of the animals.
Yeah, whales together strong.
Exactly. Did you see the messed up T-shirt that they did one with the orcas? Let me look up. It's great. You can show it on the screen. I'll send you the image. But oh yeah, here it is. Born to swim.
Oh, yeah.
World is a fuck. Sink 'em all. 2023. I am a sea beast. 410 billion sunken ships.
Yeah, that is I think the origin of that meme was a shirt that someone found in like a thrift store in like China or something. But yeah, it's just like nonsense. But it like actually goes really hard. There's like 4 million dead cops.
Yeah,
world is a fuck.
If someone can put that on a shirt, I will buy it.
Yeah. I am fully behind the orcas. And,
although by the time it gets here, the meme will be like the orcas, it could be worse actually.
Like literally, the best thing about this is that the human side is literally legally prohibited from fighting back.
These orcas
were defenseless.
They need to be studying them because maybe they are rapidly breeding to increase their numbers and therefore increase the damage.
One can only hope.
Yes.
They are teaching the children.
Well,
according to eyewitness statements, they are literally raising them like baby's first boat sink. I love it.
You would assume evolutionarily, is that a word? But just because the parents are exhibiting this behavior, the children will mock it.
Oh, yeah. It might be chuggy. That's a good point.
No. Like they meaning they'll mock it, they'll learn to do it and then perfect it and keep doing it.
Oh, I thought you meant...
In the animal kingdom, chuggy doesn't exist.
I thought you meant like, it's like, oh, well, knocking over ships, that's what boomers do.
No. In the animal kingdom, it's survival based on the things you learn from your parents. It's not embarrassing. So they'll see this as a survival tactic in protecting their waters. So it's only going to get more severe. And the fact that they're protected is really just throwing gasoline on the fire, which is amazing.
Our hands are tied.
Yes, cannot do anything except let them chew at boats with no other way to
Imagine
stop
if these things had thumbs. It'd be over for us.
Well, sit around in a couple hundred years and maybe they will.
Yeah, and they'll come back out. Because the craziest story with the sea mammals is they, like all animals, they started in the sea. They came on land, and then they went back in the fucking sea. It's the funniest evolutionary cycle. Like, all right, we've been out here for a couple million years. This fucking sucks.
Yeah.
You know what I miss? The ocean. Let's go back.
The orcas, they came on land at one point and they said, "Oh, these Spaniards, get me out of here."
I hope we're gonna go back in the sea where we never have to deal with any Spanish people ever again. They're like, wait, what the fuck is that smell?
What's that smell?
Anyway, but speaking of news of the sea, if you're looking for a front row seat for the orca apocalypse, obviously that's gonna cost you. Oceanfront property is prohibitively expensive. Or is it? Here's a little real estate hack for y'all via The Guardian. 10 lighthouses that for generations have stood like sentinels along America's shorelines, protecting mariners from peril and guiding them to safety, are being given away at no cost or sold at auction by the federal government. The aim of the program, run by the General Services Administration, is to preserve the properties, most of which are more than a century old. The development of modern technology, including GPS, means lighthouses are no longer essential for navigation, said John Kelly of the GSA's Office of Real Property Disposition. And while the Coast Guard often maintains aids to navigation at or near lighthouses, the structures themselves are often no longer mission critical. Add this one to the book of the guy with all the question marks on it.
Yeah.
With all the free money hacks. Your own lighthouse.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea. And also, I think they are being, no pun intended, short-sighted about this because what if the GPS goes down? What if the future isn't a place that is habitable to GPS operation?
Well, then I think we got
who's gonna be laughing then?
we got bigger problems if that's what happens. But,
No, we revert back to the sea.
I mean, luckily the satellites are in space, and there's a lot of them.
Yeah, I'm just
But
saying.
yeah, I mean,
These are good to have around, just in case.
Yeah, you want to fall back, and also it creates jobs.
Yeah, of course. Specifically, 2 jobs where people work at it for months at a time.
Yeah.
And they
2 jobs, one older guy, one younger guy who might have lied a little bit about his identity.
And they get into hilarious things.
Yeah, they drink a lot, and they run out of alcohol, and then they just start drinking straight turpentine, and that's when things get real fucking weird.
What day is it? Go see The Lighthouse. Well, in your own living room, I guess. Anyways, that's right though. Why pay millions for a 1 or 2 story home that only gives you a 180-degree view of the sea when you could pay exactly $0 for a significantly taller home that gives you a full 360?
Yeah, if I'm looking at the sea, I want to see the full 360.
Yeah, I want to see land, I want to see sea. It's a hell of a deal, obviously, and your free lighthouse will pair nicely with your free TV. Though actually watching anything might be a challenge.
Bring a thumb drive.
And unfortunately, you can't just go down to your local Remax and ask for 1 lighthouse, please. From the article, the GSA has been transferring ownership of lighthouses since Congress passed the National Historic Lighthouse Preservation Act in 2000. About 150 lighthouses have been transferred, 80 or so given away, and another 70 auctioned, raising more than $10 million. This year, 6 lighthouses are being offered at no cost to federal, state, or local government agencies, nonprofits, educational organizations, or other entities that are willing to maintain and preserve them and make them publicly available for educational, recreational, or cultural purposes. That's where they get you.
Yeah.
You got to make sure these are not crumbling into the ocean. You have to actually...
That's the great thing, though. You won't have anything else to do out there but maintain.
Yeah, it's like we could get, if they were giving it away and we could come up with a good purpose, we could have an Internet Today lighthouse.
Yeah.
The problem is, 1 loose stone falls on a kid's head and we're liable.
Right. I'm going to need some...
That's why we need the lighthouse keepers.
That's right. And yeah, so I guess it looks like step 1 to acquiring your own personal lighthouse is to set up some sort of nonprofit and or educational organization, because I guess... they don't really just hand these things over to anyone, which is bullshit. So you'll want to name it something like the Nonprofit Lighthouse Education Organization. Lighthouses for people. And then you presumably just call up the GSA and request 1 lighthouse, please, for your lighthouse educational nonprofit. And if that doesn't work, you unfortunately may have to pay. And it sounds like the only ones that go up for auction to the general public, they're not the best ones. They're the ones that no one else wanted.
Yeah.
But hey, a lighthouse is a lighthouse. and some of these still look pretty cool. And if we do a little math, they said 70 lighthouses that have been auctioned off, divided by the $10 million total that they've earned from it. That comes out to around $142,000 for a whole lighthouse, which obviously that's not nothing, but it's a hell of a deal. Way cheaper than buying a house on land in this economy?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Unfortunately, all I can predict is a string of Mr. Beast lighthouses spanning the east coast of the United States.
Yeah.
Mr. Beast presents the Charitable Lighthouse Foundation for Nonprofit Youth, or whatever jumble of words you want to put in.
I found 20 people with cerebral palsy and gave each one of them their own lighthouse.
I found 20 epilepsy patients and gave each one of them access to a lighthouse.
Found 20 drifters with mysterious paths.
Yeah.
And put pairs of them in their own lighthouse.
What happened next? What happened next will shock you. Oh, man. Anyways, it's of course fun to think about. Thinking about the fun that you'll have out there on the sea, living in your own personal lighthouse, all alone, or maybe with one special other companion.
Exactly one other companion.
Yes. Some blistering old man who's seen it all.
A Willem Dafoe type.
Yes. And of course, the seagulls.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And yeah, the best part is your lighthouse is out of commission. So there's really not anything you need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which leaves you a lot more time to spend with your thoughts. Those pesky things.
Yeah. Just you on your mattress with your thoughts.
And a hole carved lovingly into that mattress.
You're spoiling this whole fucking movie.
It doesn't matter. Look, it's been out for years. If you haven't seen
also,
the
you
lighthouse
can't
yet,
really spoil it. Like, I had kind of forgotten the plot.
It doesn't matter.
And I was reading it on Wikipedia. I was like, I don't even remember half this shit. I just remember being very weirded out for the whole time and loving it.
Just a constant feeling of unsettling. You should, if you haven't seen it yet, that's what you're doing this weekend. You are, you have to watch it at night first.
Get ye a copy of The Lighthouse, boy.
Close all the windows.
Pour yourself a stiff drink and watch The Lighthouse.
Turn all the lights off, light a candle, and watch The Lighthouse. It's just a beautiful movie starring Batman and Willem Dafoe.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyways, look, if you can't own a home in regular terms, well, this is your chance.
This is the only way you're going to do. Although, I guess they just announced, Rocket Mortgage just announced 1% down payments mortgages, which will certainly not lead to exactly what fucking happened in 2008 all over again. Nope, this time we're doing it right. You just show up with a check for like $10,000 and here's your house, and I'm sure you'll get those payments back to us in due time. All million of you that we offer this to.
I'm going to assume that all they're doing is owning the home, charging you the interest. You never build any personal equity.
Yeah.
And then once you die, your kids or relatives either, pick it up, or Rocket Mortgage just goes, wow, crazy.
Yeah.
We have a house. Oh, our luck.
Yeah.
It's almost as if we planned them to not be able to pay this off ever throughout eternity. The standard 30-year, passe. The standard 75-year.
100-year mortgage.
No, I mean, they do it with cars now. There's like 10-year car loans.
That's insane.
It is. You end up paying the same amount as interest
Still
as you
paying
do
for your car when it's just like barely...
Yeah. It's got 200,000 miles and about to be paid off.
So yeah, take to the sea. Buy now while the getting's good.
That's what I say.
There's land out there beyond the waves.
Yeah, and when the GPS inevitably goes down...
Ah!
Look who's in charge now!
You better make sure you're all stocked up on whale oil to burn the lamp.
Yeah.
I'm sure they've all been electrified by now, but in case that goes out,
yeah,
you're gonna need some whale oil.
They don't need lighthouses anymore because the ships can't even get close enough to land to even be scared about hitting rocks. They're getting taken out by the orcas wide 20, 30 nautical miles out to sea.
In fact, the lighthouse it's like, hey, orcas, they're over there. Get them.
And I know it's only been a couple of years, but it feels really like the perfect time to bring back the sea shanty.
Yeah, that was a weird little moment.
Yeah, like a 1 month moment in the pandemic where everyone's doing sea shanties.
Baking bread and singing shanties. Well,
we really had it all, didn't we, folks?
Anyway, shifting now from nautical news to your typical land news, it's time for an update to what was definitely the highlight of this past week and maybe this whole month. Ron DeSantis teaming up with Elon Musk for the most bungled presidential campaign announcement in modern history.
Bungled.
Just absolutely bungled.
Yeah.
Twitter Spaces wasn't just an inherently bad medium for this kind of announcement. It was also clear to anyone paying any attention for the last several months that the risk of technical issues was high. And it wasn't surprising at all when it took over 20 minutes of app crashes and audio issues for the event to even start. Things went exactly as anticipated.
Are we on? So yeah, some updates now that the dust has settled. For starters, Twitter's head of engineering decided to quit his job at Twitter after 4 years, just one day after this fiasco. He hasn't said anything to indicate the specific reason for his decision, but come on, we all know.
Yeah, no, it's just a coincidence.
And over on the Platformer newsletter, which has been a great source for behind-the-scenes info about Twitter 2.0, they provided some insight on what exactly went wrong with this event. And spoiler alert, it's exactly what we all assumed, figured, and thought it would be, but they go into more detail about it.
Perhaps the most important thing to know about Space's technical problems. Over the past several months, Musk cut the Space's team, which once numbered as many as 100 employees, down to roughly 3 people. For months now, the Spaces team, that's putting it loosely, I think, the Spaces trio, has been operating without most of the institutional knowledge it accumulated since Twitter added live audio conversations in 2021 to compete with then-hot Clubhouse. Practically no one remaining knows the current architecture in depth. One person lamented on the pseudonymous employee forum Blind. In November, a senior engineering manager on the team posted a message on LinkedIn saying the whole team was available for hire. At least some members of the team were discussing a possible acquisition with Automatic, but it's unclear where those discussions landed. Does this mean Twitter, aka Elon, is killing Spaces? Someone asked in response to the post. That has literally been one of the most useful features for connecting with others and bringing me back to the site. The engineer responded simply, shrug emoji.
Wow.
Three people.
Yeah, it's almost like you cannot run something like this on a skeleton crew.
Well, it was running fine until this happened.
Yeah, and it was because of the sheer massive amount of people that could only be comparable to, I don't know, a gamer on Twitch.
Yeah.
Streaming 4K to hundreds of thousands of people.
A Wednesday afternoon Dr. Disrespect stream.
Yeah, or like any Germa stream. So yeah, they then explained some stuff about how Spaces is hosted on both Twitter's own servers as well as some very under-provisioned AWS servers, and there was simply not enough server capacity to handle hundreds of thousands of people trying to join at once. And here's some fun behind-the-scenes info. Musk's own Twitter app crashed repeatedly during the event, we're told. Musk, who uses the employee-only build of the app known as Early Bird, was said to be furious afterward.
Yes.
The situation reflects the fact that the small Spaces team did not conduct stress tests of the system before the event. The New York Times reported this detail yesterday.
Just let it ride. I'm sure it works fine.
What's the worst that could happen?
We don't do dress rehearsals here. We don't pay rent. We don't follow building codes. We definitely don't rehearse major events that we are using as a proof of concept that we are like the news now. Just let it run.
Again, we mentioned it on the video from the other day, but it surpassed even our expectations of how poorly this could possibly go.
It was very fun to observe as it happens. So yeah, again, no surprises at all. It's honestly kind of shocking how predictable this all was for even casual observers. Exactly what we thought would happen, happened. This man is playing 1D chess, and while we're on the subject, Elon Musk would like to place a computer in your brain.
Please.
Human trials for Neuralink have been approved by the FDA.
Wow.
I guess they got the monkeys to stop eating their own fingers.
That's progress, baby.
Hey, we're past the makes you eat your own fingers stage of the trials, so let's test this out on some people.
Yeah.
So yeah, the man who did not think to check whether the live stream that he'd been hyping for days could even work on a technical level wants to put a computer inside your brain. Very exciting.
The guy who intentionally brought out weighted balls to test the bulletproof glass on his Cybertruck.
See, bulletproof. Ah, fuck. Anyway, get that brain over here. Let's take a look in that noggin. Let's go.
Yeah.
Bop.
So if Elon Musk's plans for Neuralink do somehow come to fruition, though, one feature we'd like to see implemented is something to ensure that American users know that Puerto Rico is, in fact, part of the United States and not a foreign country.
Puerto Rico.
What will you require?
Sure, Puerto Rico isn't super close to the U.S. It's farther away than its neighbors, the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. But Hawaii's way out there in the middle of fucking nowhere in the Pacific, and no one seems to have any trouble remembering that it is part of the United States, so what gives? Why do Americans consistently put their ignorance on display by insisting that Puerto Rico is a foreign country? It is a U.S. territory and it needs to become a state.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of bungled that one a couple years ago, like pre-COVID and pre their last hurricane. They actually, they did vote on it, and it lost by a narrow majority.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some people there have regrets, but also it's like I don't know, I don't fully understand the issue, but they do have reasons for not wanting statehood. There's also a full independence movement in Puerto Rico that I think, makes things a little bit trickier to navigate with this issue.
I agree that there's definitely some issues with
nobody
that.
is happy with how things are right now.
Exactly.
But
The fact that it's a territory gives it like less benefits than it would have as a state, but also less freedom to do what they want to do independently. So,
and also, like, with that hurricane, like, obviously Trump bungled that one really badly.
No, he gave them paper towels.
Right, but like, even for as badly as the U.S. government stepped in there, like, there were so many fucking idiots in this country being like, why are we helping this foreign country deal with their hurricane?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. In terms of becoming a state, it's in limbo. It is currently in a place where people don't acknowledge it as part of the U.S., but also they aren't allowed the full benefits of being a U.S. state, so it's in this weird kind of place. So.
Anyway, we don't know the full answer for why this is a blind spot in the average American psyche, but it keeps happening with two high-profile incidents happening very recently. Here's one of those incidents via CBS News. A Puerto Rican family traveling from Los Angeles to the island of Puerto Rico was denied travel on Spirit Airlines because the parents didn't have a U.S. passport for their toddler. The parents didn't need a passport, nor did their child, because Puerto Ricans are United States citizens, and Puerto Rico is not an international destination.
It does continue, but she and her husband showed their passports to avoid a hassle. When the agent asked for a passport for the toddler, Roman Torres said she told the agent that the boy didn't have a passport. She says they were offered two options: accept a refund or reschedule the flight for a later date once the family could obtain a passport for the child. Even before that offer was made, Roman Torres says she implored both the agent and the agent's supervisor, who had gotten involved and was aware of the situation, "Is there anyone else I can talk to? Can we call customer service together?" She said they were completely inflexible. There was no empathy. There was just walls, she said. She left the Spirit Airlines counter and noticed the JetBlue counter was empty. She walked up and explained the situation, then asked if there were any last-minute seats to Puerto Rico. There were, at a much higher price. The JetBlue employee, she remembers, told her, "That's not needed, the passport, to go to Puerto Rico." And I'm like, I know! Come on!
They're like, okay, this person at the Spirit Airlines counter, maybe they're new, maybe they don't get it. Hey, supervisor, Puerto Rico's part of America, right? Like, I don't think so.
This is like...
I'm pretty sure I would know where the airline I work for, Spirit Airlines, flies to, and now that you mention it, no, we don't fly anywhere else internationally, but I guess Puerto Rico's the one exception to that.
This is
pretty interesting, but yeah, we're gonna need a passport for that baby.
One step away from this family speaking perfect English and going, "I can't understand a word you're saying."
That happens in the next story.
Okay.
It fucking happens.
Ooh. Okay. Well, good. This is being heightened then.
Yeah. And it's wild. Like, if this was happening to me, and maybe this happened here, I would just simply pull out my phone and ask Siri is Puerto Rico part of the U.S.? Do you need a passport to travel to Puerto Rico?
Well, you can't trust AI these days.
Right. They'd be like, I read that ChatGPT lies sometimes.
Yeah, this is a educational failure.
God damn.
Amazingly, just a few days before all that went down, a similar situation happened elsewhere in the United States. Here's CBS News again. Hertz has apologized for denying a Puerto Rican man a rental car that he paid for in advance. The man, Humberto Marchand, said that he presented his Puerto Rican driver's license to an employee at a Hertz rental car counter at New Orleans International Airport last week and was told he would need to show his passport. The employee insinuated, according to Marchand, that he was a foreigner and couldn't rent a vehicle without showing his passport. Puerto Ricans are United States citizens. Marchand has his Puerto Rican driver's license, which is as valid as any other driver's license issued in the United States. He was not carrying his US passport. Video recorded by Marchand shows a manager asking him to leave. When he didn't, she asked him if he wanted her to call the police, and he replied, "Yes, please call the police." The Kenner police officer who responded also told Marchand to leave, according to Marchand, who served 25 years as a federal law enforcement officer before retiring.
God.
Imagine how frustrating this must be.
Yeah, just think about having your lifelong career being working for the government of a country that you are a citizen of, but where the average person does not believe that you are a citizen of that country and will actively choose to continue not believing you are a citizen, even when you explain that you in fact are a citizen. Got to be a bit annoying.
Yes.
And that still isn't even quite as dumb as the numerous examples we seem to get every year of people with New Mexico driver's licenses receiving similar treatment for being from another country. No, I know Mexican. No, you trying to hop? Are you an anchor baby? How did you get here?
Whoa!
But yeah, this Marchand, he even claims that the cop who showed up made comments about maybe calling the border patrol on him.
Please do. Let's get everyone involved.
Yeah, let's make this into a spectacle.
Yes.
And in screenshots that he posted to Twitter, Hertz, they did apologize via text, but they claimed that this was all a misunderstanding due to there being a language barrier, despite Marchand speaking fluent English throughout his video of the encounter. Like, not even like heavily accented. This man is a fluent English speaker. He worked for the fucking American government for 25 years. He speaks English. There was no language barrier. God damn it. We are a very dumb country. We're a stupid country. We don't deserve Puerto Rico. Honestly,
Exactly, yes.
there should be, the rules of late imperialism should be that if a certain, maybe a simple majority of the citizens of a country don't know whether a colony is theirs or not, the colony automatically gets freedom.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing imperialism, you should know what you've done. Otherwise, what's the point, you know?
Yeah,
and I bet like we would lose some territories. We'd probably lose Guam.
I was just gonna say Guam.
That's another one. I'm
Yeah.
sure they deal with this all the fucking time. I mean, U.S. Virgin Islands at least has U.S. in it very helpfully.
Yeah, but also Virgin.
Yeah.
I'm not going to the Virgin Islands.
We'd probably
what are you,
lose,
crazy?
We'd lose a few. I bet France would lose a few because France still has like a ton of fucking overseas departments.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, the European Space Agency is based in Guyana because that is Europe, technically. Anyway, we've got the headlines part of the show coming right up, but first it's time for some ads.
Yeah, check out our sponsors, please.
This episode is sponsored by Native.
I'm wearing my native right now.
It's starting to warm up. We're all going to be hopefully spending a lot more time outside touching grass, but with great sun comes great responsibility.
Right.
And with Native sunscreen, I can give my skin the protection it needs while soaking up all that much needed sun.
Native's quickly absorbing, ultra sheer, hydrating, and lightweight sunscreen formula offers broad spectrum SPF 30 protection from UVA and UVB rays. All Native sunscreen is made with a 20% active zinc oxide formula that is dermatologist tested and suitable for sensitive skin. All Native sunscreen is made with oils derived from plants that seal in skin moisture, and it's also vegan and cruelty-free. And I want to point out, very, very good selling point here, does not give you the Mark Zuckerberg face when you put it on.
It doesn't.
Which is a huge selling point.
Yeah.
Because I've used other stuff and I'm like, well, I can't even leave now. I look
I
ridiculous.
look like a mime.
Mm-hmm.
Choose from one of Native's 3 delicious but subtle scents like coconut, pineapple, rosé, or sweet peach and nectar for your face and body, or try Native's unscented option. That's the one I use. With Native sunscreen, you get protection from the sun that is free of chemical additives, oxybenzone, octinoxate, and avobenzone, which makes Native sunscreen compliant with the Hawaii Act 104, which was passed in an effort to protect Hawaii's reefs.
Give your skin the protection that it deserves with Native's mineral sunscreens. Go to nativedo.com/weird or use promo code WEIRD at checkout to get 20% off your first order. Stock up for the whole summer. That is nativedeo.com/weird or use our promo code WEIRD at checkout. nativedeo.com/weird or use promo code WEIRD.
And this episode is sponsored by ZocDoc. This country's healthcare system certainly has some issues, one of which is that even if you're fully insured, actually finding a doctor who's available to see you can be a very annoying, time-consuming, and antiquated process. And the longer it takes to find a doctor, the more likely you are to fall down some internet rabbit hole of potentially questionable medical advice. And then, even when you find a doctor, it's hard to know beforehand whether they're the right doctor for you.
Well, ZocDoc makes this whole process a lot easier. You just fill in what you need, where you live, what your availability is, and what insurance you have, and ZocDoc pulls up a list of doctors along with their availability plus loads of user reviews to help you find the care you need and book it with the tap of your finger. ZocDoc is the only free app that lets you find and book doctors who are patient reviewed, take your insurance, and are available when you need them, and also treat almost every condition under the sun.
No more doctor roulette or scouring the internet for questionable reviews. With ZocDoc, you have a trusted guide to connect you to your favorite doctor you haven't met yet. Millions of people use ZocDoc's free app to find and book a doctor in their neighborhood who is patient reviewed and fits their needs and schedule just right. Go to ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird and download the ZocDoc app for free. Then find and book a top-rated doctor today. Many are available within 24 hours. That's ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird. ZocDoc.com/weeklyweird.
All right, now let's get back to it with the craziest, weirdest headlines from around the world this week.
Starting with one that I didn't even think was possible. Many have tried over the years, but it finally happened.
Yeah.
Dozens injured after man opens plane door during flight.
This must have been the world's strongest man, or the world's weakest plane door.
I get, so the reason it doesn't actually work usually is because of pressure, right?
Yes.
So this plane was landing. It was like 700 feet in the air.
Okay.
It was doing its descent.
This doesn't count.
And well, it was
Cruising altitude or nothing.
I mean, if it happened to cruising altitude, everyone would freeze to death and also immediately pass out.
It's impossible to
right, but if you could, everyone would immediately pass out because of lack of oxygen and freeze to death because it is very cold up there.
Just wait till the orcas learn how to fly.
The videos of this, like I mean, it looks like it was scary, but yeah, they got the door open somehow. I guess the person tried to jump and they stopped him. I don't know how he didn't just get sucked out. None of this is like the movie, but
yeah, I mean, again, like if you're at a certain altitude, it's not like it's going to suck you out. People jump out of airplanes and they stand at the door all the time. They have to literally jump out to do it. Now, me personally, I wouldn't risk my life to pull back a guy.
Yeah, you're on your own, buddy.
Yeah, like, come on.
But I don't want him landing on someone else. That would be...
Nah, you're in the flight path. It's just,
Swamp.
Swamp. Was this like a huge jet?
Yeah, it was an Airbus.
Wow.
It was in Korea, though. You would think, oh, the Americans are at it again. Nope. Actually, I don't know. It might have been an American, but it was a Korean flight landing in Korea. Mm-hmm. So presumably someone from Korea who wanted to get home a little faster. I see my house. Why can't I just jump?
It's so annoying when you see where you live while you're flying over it, and then you're like, well, I got to deal with an hour of landing, getting an Uber. Ugh.
I'm good. Drop me off here.
I think I could survive
Bye-bye.
that. Doesn't look too bad. Why not give it a shot? Next headline, though. California Assembly passes bill that would ban the sale of Skittles.
I love how this is framed because the law would ban certain chemicals from being used in food. Chemicals which have been illegal in the EU for like decades. But they're like, oh, the Californians want to ban Skittles. It's like, no, they want, presumably Skittles, the Skittles company, would just change the recipe for the California market rather than give up
They're
billions in sales.
certainly doing whatever they're doing now with the colors to save money.
Yeah.
And haven't switched because it is cheaper to do it the way they're doing it.
Like
it's the gayest candy. I could see this happening in Florida for different reasons, but in California it's just
Taste the rainbow? I don't think so. But yeah, like they list the chemicals and it's a couple of colorings, which like, who cares? I don't care what color the fucking candy is. And then like a couple other chemicals that are, it's like, I'm sure they can find something else. Yeah. I'm sure removing these and replacing them with something else would not affect the taste of my fucking Skittles.
Yeah.
So, so far, we'll see what happens. But it would be fucking crazy if California managed to pass EU food safety standards, which would, in effect, force a lot of these companies to just adopt them nationwide.
It would be more expensive to do two separate products.
It's similar to like how California has single-handedly like kind of pushed America towards green energy by enacting like the strictest fucking environmental rules in the country.
And also stricter cookie policies on websites.
Yeah.
So Yeah, this is go us, I guess. But
Gavin Newsom wants to take my Skittles from my car. Oh, wait, they're gay. Gavin Newsom,
Take 'em away.
Take them away. Shit. Fuck. I don't know what to think. Is Gavin Newsom based? Fuck.
ah, damn it.
Why doesn't Ron DeSantis ban Skittles? Does Ron DeSantis like Skittles? Is Ron DeSantis gay?
I remember the growing up, and I've never looked this up for legitimacy. I just remember it when I was a kid. But I remember, I believe the rumor was that Yellow 5 would make you sterile.
Yeah, I remember that one. They're like, don't drink Mountain Dew.
Don't drink Surge.
Yeah.
It's got Yellow 5 in it.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure that there were far more reasons not to drink Mountain Dew and Surge than that, but I wonder if that's true. You'll find out.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the fact that our food colorings are just simply known as like a color and a number,
Yes.
not in love with that.
No. But hey,
Yeah,
that's our country, baby.
that's our country.
Love it or leave
Love
it.
it or leave it. Go eat your woke Skittles over in France. I'll eat my chemical Skittles that are gonna take 5 to 10 years off my life, and I'm gonna enjoy it.
That's right. 3-year-old shoots 2 people in Indiana, leading to arrest of man wanted for murder.
So who's to say whether it's good or bad to let small children operate handguns?
Yeah.
In this case, the 3-year-old shooting people led to a wanted murderer being
Yes.
apprehended by the law.
I know. This is good news. Could you imagine?
If we give more 3-year-olds more guns,
Yes.
no more murder.
Take that book out of the 3-year-old's hand and put a gun in it.
Yeah, this is the only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is a 3-year-old with a gun.
Yeah. Yes.
Because 3-year-olds, they're still young enough that they haven't developed the fear that children and adults sometimes exhibit in moments of danger.
Yes.
They just fire away. They start blasting.
Yeah, they're
Goo goo gaga. Ha ha ha.
fearless.
Yeah.
Fearless toddlers.
They like, and the popping sounds that most people like flinch. Little babies, they're like ha ha ha. Wee.
I love loud noises.
But yeah, this kid, I don't know how the kid got the gun, but one of the people the kid shot was like his mom's boyfriend or dealer or some shit. That guy went to the hospital and they're like, what's your name? And he's like, do you really need to know my name? How'd you get shot? Not important.
Just like when Maggie shot Mr. Burns.
So yeah, they fingerprinted him and he got got.
Good.
That 3-year-old's gonna grow up with a target on its back.
No, with a Medal of Honor on its chest.
And hopefully give that 3-year-old a badge.
That 3-year-old is now the mayor.
Yeah. We're trying things.
Well, look, a lot of stuff hasn't worked in this
Yeah.
country, so we're just kind of throwing stuff at the wall these
3-year-old's
days.
got good judgment.
Yes. Good natural judge of character.
Yeah. India official empties dam to retrieve lost phone.
We're just trying things.
India corruption is on like such an amazing level. This guy isn't even like, you're like, okay, he's like the guy in charge of dams. No, he's like the chief like food inspector of India. He like dropped his phone in the dam, which like at that point,
It's gone.
it's gone. Even if you find it, it's been in a dam for a long time. But he's like, nope, and fucking drained 500,000 gallons of water from this dam over the course of multiple days, like running a pump 24/7, trying to get his phone.
Wow.
Wasted.
Did he get it?
No, because he got like 90% of the way there, and then someone who actually works in for the dam department was like, "What are you doing? No, get a new phone, you fucking asshole."
Yeah.
So all for nothing.
Wow.
Love it.
Back to
Speaking-
America.
Yeah, it's, our Indiana.
Yes.
Indiana to lift its ban on throwing stars this summer.
Hell yeah.
It's hot ninja summer, boys.
And every 3-year-old is carrying.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. Listen, it is kind of silly that ninja stars of all things are banned in a country where you can carry weapons of death on you to like Starbucks.
Yes.
It doesn't make me any more or less comfortable knowing that this is a thing.
Other than I would at least have the chance to survive a ninja star attack.
Yeah, I imagine they're pretty hard to use. I don't think it's as easy as the ninjas.
Certainly harder than a gun.
Yeah. And apparently, the people most excited about this are the people that run the axe throwing bars.
Oh, I don't know.
Which I did that for the first time recently, and it's harder than it looks. I finally, like, after an hour, I finally got the hang of it. You don't move your wrist at all. Like
It's just a rhythm. It's just a rhythm you have to get.
Naturally, you feel like you have to throw your wrist, but no. Keep your wrist locked, and also don't even let go. The momentum of the axe pulls itself from your arm, and that gets the perfect spin.
Yeah, I did it. It wasn't incredibly difficult once you find that little rhythm.
Yeah, once you get it.
I feel like
it just feels dangerous for like no real reason though. It's
well,
very loud. Like people are just like, and like when you fuck up, which everyone in my group was fucking up badly, like it bounces off the wall.
That's what I was gonna say. A lot of these places are like, they're used a lot. So the blocks of wood that people are throwing into, they're not as accepting sometimes. And if you hit the wrong side of it, it comes bouncing back.
Yeah.
I noticed that a lot. But yes, throwing stars, I feel like with an axe, it's like, there's more that goes into it.
Yeah.
I feel like specifically at an axe throwing place, I would feel more in danger with anyone in the vicinity having just a pocket full of throwing stars.
Yeah.
That at any point in time they could use.
It is, yeah.
You can
like,
see an axe coming more.
Yeah, at least
like
with the axe,
wind
it's like a full body thing. Like generally, even if you suck, it's gonna go in the general direction.
And you have to get
going.
momentum, and there has to be distance.
Like with it, yeah, with the throwing star, it's like look at every like first pitch in baseball and see how wildly like off the mark it goes when you're throwing something small. And you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yes. Although I have completely forgot to mention that someone could just hit you with the axe instead of throwing it.
I mean, they could if they wanted to, but why do that when you're already carrying a gun?
Yeah,
This is America.
Yeah, in America, it's like, I'm gonna go down to the axe throwing bar, and it's like, that's the least dangerous thing I'm going to do today.
Yeah, it's quaint, actually.
The axe throwing bar is probably the safest place that you are.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true.
Winnie the Pooh book teaches Texas kids to run, hide, fight in a shooting.
I'm glad we got rid of all the woke books, and I'm also glad that Winnie the Pooh is in the public domain, so we can give our kids wholesome content that isn't going to completely fuck them up for life.
Yeah.
Featuring Winnie the Pooh teaching kids how to survive a mass shooting that has a decent likelihood of happening within their, you know.
Eeyore's
their
depressed
youth.
because he has PTSD from a previous shooting.
Oh, bother, another shooting.
Yes.
Tigger's like, oh God, I'm so
Well,
stressed out.
see ya. Boing, 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 boing.
Every man for themselves.
Does this have anything to do with the copyright restrictions being lifted and them just
Yeah,
being like,
no.
oh, cool, yeah.
Like the art style, like I think the art is original, but yeah, it's like you can use Winnie the Pooh however the hell you want now. And but
No,
not
Disney-
with the red shirt.
Well, Disney, I'm sorry, the red shirt is red because of the blood.
That's right.
You see, it
not-
was a white shirt before.
But yeah, they just handed this out to like every kid in this Texas school, and a lot of parents were like, "What the fuck is this?" But at least it wasn't woke.
At least Winnie the Pooh isn't gay.
Teaching kids about gay shit? Teaching our kids that they could be shot at any moment of any day while they are at school.
As just a part of life.
Yeah, that's totally fine. We need more of that in this country.
Mhm.
That will make sure that our kids grow up sane and good.
If guns shot dildos that turned people gay, they would be banned in an instant.
Well, yeah, I would like them to be banned if that was the case. Not for homophobic reasons, just because that's terrifying.
But it only turns you gay, it doesn't kill you. They would be banned immediately, especially in Florida. They would set the stage for the entire country.
Right.
Yeah.
Imagine. That's probably something the CIA's been trying to develop for
We can't
like
get this gay
50
gun working.
Oh man, if we could get our gay gun to work, Fidel Castro's going down this time.
That's right.
Oh no, we shot him with the gay gun and he became even more heterosexual.
Havana syndrome
God damn
is bisexuality. I stayed in this hotel in Havana and I'm feeling a little gay.
Good thing the music is so fun.
Woo! You guys ever just danced without a care in the world? It's liberating. I love it.
These rhythms.
Yes.
Infectious.
I'm bringing it back to the States.
Guantanamera. Guantanamera. Eating disorder helpline fires staff, transitions to chatbot after unionization.
Ay, ay, ay.
I'm sure they'll be just as good at convincing people in distress not to starve themselves to death. But I guess we'll see.
What should I do, ChatGPT? Eat something.
You should
Wow,
eat food.
thanks.
As an AI chatbot, I really can't help you. That would be the best case scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is fucked. And it's like the union, it was like 5 people, and their unionization efforts was just because like they're like, this job is obviously difficult, like mentally for us. You don't even have to pay us more. We would just like, you know, a little more flexibility in terms of that.
We need our own helpline.
We would like a collective bargaining agreement to give us a better position to negotiate that. And they're like, nope, sorry. Have you heard of this thing called ChatGPT? Bye-bye. Yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Probably not well. 11-year-old Mississippi boy who called 911 shot by responding officer. Why did he shoot me?
It's a great question, kid.
Yeah.
It seems that cops, they shoot people a lot.
Yeah.
Regardless of who that person is, they just like to shoot.
Yeah. Why have a gun if you're not going to use it?
They're kind of like 3-year-olds if they were in adult bodies.
That's right.
Given, a license to kill.
Yes.
But unlike 3-year-olds, they don't always get it right when they start blasting.
That's true, because they have biases, unlike 3-year-olds.
But yeah, the kid's mom's like ex-boyfriend showed up and like, I guess she had reason to fear. She told her kid, call 911. He does. Cops get there. The cops are like, everyone out of the house. And the kid comes out, like, to come out of the house. He just fucking shoots him. Ah! Like, why'd you do that? I guess he got hit in the chest. He had like a collapsed lung. It sounds like he's gonna be okay, but it's still like.
But no, that's not okay.
No, not at all.
I hate that specifically in this country, like when people are like, "Don't worry, he lived." It's like, no, this kid
he got shot in the chest.
Has to live with the trauma of this
Yeah.
for the rest of his life.
I'm sure his lungs will never work as good as they did. I'm sure his family. Sorry, there's no law in this country that says if the police shoot you in an accident, your medical bills are free.
No.
So that's a fun one.
No, it's...
and yeah, just the trauma of having someone fucking shoot you.
Yeah.
Someone who you trusted to save you in a situation where you were in danger actually was the danger.
Yeah, and living with that trauma and the injury and the potential damage that it could have that is you're unaware of right now for the rest of your life, it's like, well, at least they lived.
Yeah.
Open and shut case.
Hey, this story has a happy ending.
I've got good news. Ugh.
Anyway, of course the cop isn't even like...
It's part of the job.
Yeah, the mom obviously, she's like, you need to fire this cop.
Nope.
Well, I don't know. We're looking into it.
If we fired every cop that shot an 11-year-old,
we wouldn't have any cops left. Come on. What do you want me to do?
My hands are tied. So.
Police. Georgia woman broke into restaurant overnight, made a salad that cost business $500.
Yeah, that's a hell of a salad.
Well,
with these days, with the whole inflation thing, I don't know, maybe...
I would hope it's a big salad, but the reason they had to throw out $500 worth of ingredients because she got her like greasy little hands all over everything. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if they didn't say whether she was intoxicated or not. She looks kind of happy, a little silly in her mugshot. I don't know what happened there, but if I'm breaking into a restaurant in the middle of the night to eat for some reason, I'm making myself a midnight snack. I'm not making myself a fucking salad.
Yeah.
What is this? What are you doing?
I would go for the dessert cart for sure.
See if they got any pies.
Yeah, I think maybe the logic here is that she didn't have to actually cook anything, which would have set off alarm bells, obviously. Sound, smoke detector, stuff like that. Went for the easy option, but if they really wanted to like parlay this into a marketing gimmick, they could be like, come try the $500 salad.
Yeah.
It put us on the map, by God.
Special price for you, my friend.
$500.
$10.
Yeah. All you can eat, $500 salad. The salad bar is yours for the next hour.
That's right. Go wild.
Mm-hmm. Bear helps itself to 60 cupcakes from Connecticut Bakery. Scares employees.
I don't think it scared them like on purpose. Boo.
Yeah.
It just was doing bear stuff and they were scared by that.
Yes, silly old bear.
But yeah, I mean, imagine you're a bear. Most bears never like
experience the cupcake.
You're a bear, you're like, I'm hungry, let's go see what's going on. You're like, what the hell do I smell with my nose coming from that direction? Oh boy, let's go check that out. Why is everyone running away from me?
This is delicious.
Well, if no one's gonna eat it.
Why is no one sticking around for this?
Well, if no one else is gonna eat it, I'm gonna eat these 60 Oh my God!
This is amazing.
Oh, Jesus! Holy shit!
I haven't tasted something this fancy since I ate that diabetic hunter.
Yeah, I'm sure afterwards the sugar crashed, probably.
Oh yeah.
Probably going into
best sleep of its life.
Very early hibernation with that one.
Oh yeah.
But can you imagine tasting sugar for the first time as a bear?
That's the problem. This bear is now a danger to society.
Yeah, once you get the taste of those cupcakes, no bakery is safe.
I eat a sweet like 1 day a week, and it's like the next couple days are ruined. All I want is sweets.
I got ice cream the other night. One scoop. I was able to eat half of it before I felt like I need to stop. And then like I waited 2 days with it just sitting in my freezer before I went back.
Oh no.
Like and it was good, but like I don't know how the fuck anyone orders more than 1 scoop of ice cream. It blows my mind.
I go to a place that does they let the adults have the kids cup, and I get the kids cup.
Yeah, that's all. I just want like a couple spoonfuls. That's all.
I need to limit myself because I could get 3 scoops and just down it.
Yeah, it's the same with like milkshakes. Anytime I get a milkshake, I'm just like, all right, okay, had a couple sips, put this away.
Every time a milkshake, I go, well, I'm never doing that again. And then like a week later, I'm like, man, you know, it'd be really good right now.
I mean, they're damn delicious. It is
true.
A devilish invention.
We have a place here called Donut Friend. Have you had the Paramorio?
No.
All their stuff's named after like bands or whatever. It's just the most decadent Oreo vanilla shake you've ever had. Delicious. I might go get it right now.
Me too.
Woman with untreated TB still on the lam 3 months after arrest warrant.
Yeah, we talked about this. The
unsettling that she's still out there.
Typhoid or tuberculosis Mary up in Tacoma, and we talked about that like I don't know a month and a half ago, and she's still just running around the state of Washington.
Proof that the daylight cures it.
Breathing on people. Interesting.
Concerning.
Seems like this should be a high priority, but everyone involved is just like, well, if we knew where she was, obviously we'd get her. But we don't know where she went.
Yeah.
So what do you want us to do?
If I send a cop out to find her, he's just gonna shoot her. Yeah, this is unsettling that it's taken this long, but doesn't seem like it's really high on their priority list.
A little bit of tuberculosis never killed anyone.
Right?
God damn it.
Anyways, to remind you again, we will be off next week for a long overdue mental health break.
I better not hear about any news.
Yeah, a burnout break to prevent us. We take the week off so that we can continue doing the show throughout the year without burning ourselves out. So it's actually in your benefit to leave us alone for a week.
That's right.
We'll be back June 7th or 8th or something like that. Anyways, in the meantime, we have got a solid 5 months of content.
That's right.
For you to catch up. I believe at this point 100 episodes this year, potentially.
Ugh.
I don't know, something like that.
Aren't we supposed to hit some like milestone?
We're about to hit 1,000. I can't remember.
1,000 videos? Jesus fucking shit.
Something like that. It's hard to keep. Also, I guess maybe it's like the day we get back or something. But hey, 5 years. Internet today, 5 years.
Got my 5-year coin.
Yes. Hey, Jack. So if you really want to celebrate our 5-year anniversary of the show, you could do so by clicking the like button. Let's get it to 5,000.
Yeah, you guys have
50,000 likes.
You guys have like a week to
spam the like button on this one.
Get those likes up to let's say 10,000.
Yeah, tell all your friends about the show so that when we come back, we can have a whole brand new audience of people.
Come on.
250,000 subs would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I've already gotten the Sideshow Bob tattoo, but I refuse to show it on the show until we get 250,000 subscribers. But yeah, get us to 250,000 and let us enjoy our nice week off. Again, follow me on Instagram if you want to see photos of the national parks or Elliot's little garden. I'm sure he'll be posting frequently about his garden.
Yeah.
In the meantime, please enjoy your own time off. It's Memorial Day weekend, so you probably have things to do.
So memorialize.
Yes. Please remember. Yes, so please watch all of our old videos, but specifically our most recent episodes. One about how Chuds are disturbingly being successful at dismantling Pride Month, which is a bummer. And also our just complete coverage of the Ron DeSantis Twitter Spaces debacle.
The bungle.
Check those out. Subscribe to the channel. Leave a like, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
Sup, you beautiful bastards! Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show, your daily dive into the news, and let's just jump into it. Starting with, should you be able to choose when and how you die, and also, what is the appropriate way to talk about it? Those are questions millions of people are split over right now after Victoria's Secret model Allie Tate Cutler put out a massively viral TikTok about euthanasia. Right, because her 85-year-old grandma who lived in Canada and had terminal cancer chose to go out by the country's medical assistance in dying program, with that being an option there for adults who have a serious condition, disease, or disability, an advanced irreversible state of decline, and are enduring what's been described as unbearable physical or mental suffering that can't be relieved under conditions the patient finds acceptable, though that notably was later loosened to allow patients who aren't terminally ill. So Tate Cutler flew up to Canada for one final week with her grandma before the procedure and documented their time together on TikTok. One of the videos showing them getting dolled up before going out to their last dinner at a restaurant together, another showing her interviewing her grandma about the process.
What are your thoughts as you like move closer to the date?
It's like the light at the end of the tunnel.
Are you nervous? Are you excited? How do you feel?
Looking forward to just putting an end to being dependent, no control.
So as the day approaches, is it something you're thinking about every day, or
no,
just
no,
it's gonna happen when it happens?
Yeah, when I'll be ready, I'll know.
Yeah.
I've always made my own decisions for myself. In living, I trust I will in death. I do believe my husband is there saying it's about time.
That better be good.
And I'll say, hi, Arn, I'm here. That's it.
The grandma adding that the doctors made sure that her illness was terminal, confirmed that she really wanted euthanasia, and stressed that she could always change her mind. And so that's why with this, there were a ton of people who expressed their support and empathy for her decision. Also, at the same time, we saw two different types of backlash against Tate Cutler here. The first being a group that was just generally opposed to euthanasia on the grounds that people should die naturally and we shouldn't be supporting suicide. And to that, she says she was initially opposed to the practice until she saw how much pain her grandmother was in, explaining that for her and her family, it's about allowing the person to choose on their own terms how and what they want to do with their body and how they want to leave the world. With her adding, we spent time talking and laughing together, going over memories. Watching her die well has been the biggest gift. There was also a second and more viral criticism here about her decision to publicize all this on social media, with some saying what she was doing was tasteless, accusing her of just doing it for clicks and attention. But to that, she says that she did all this to start a conversation about death and show how beautiful it can be to watch someone die. Which I will say, if I just heard that with no context whatsoever, I think that's a very weird sentence, but when you have ever seen or experienced someone in chronic, debilitating pain, I think it's much easier to then understand what a peaceful death, what a gift that actually is. And on this topic, Tate Cutler also talking about how death, it's this taboo subject in Western societies and people don't like to talk about it openly because it's sad and also scary. But that doesn't mean that we shouldn't talk about it. But with now all that said, arguments heard, I want to pass the question off to you. Right? Because if you go to any corner of the internet, you see people reacting to this story, but I wanted to fully explain it and then also get people's opinions, because I feel like a lot of people just like saw a screenshot and they just started sounding off. But now with everything on the table, let me know what you're thinking in those comments down below. Because it's my... I just rewatched the fucking videos. That was a mistake. Because my opinion is that Allie Tate Cutler should not be getting any backlash for this. I'm very thankful that she shed some light with her grandmother, but that's where I'm gonna leave it. Literally just for the sake of, I don't want a full-blown cry. Whether you agree or you disagree with me in those comments down below, let me know your thoughts here. And then we gotta talk about this professor right here, because they appeared not in just one viral video, but two viral videos in the same month. The first happening a few weeks ago at Hunter College in New York City. You see her approach an information booth run by an anti-abortion student group on campus, and the footage speaks for itself.
This is bullshit. This is violent. You're triggering my students.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
No, you're not. Because you can't even have a fucking baby. So you don't even know what that is. You don't even know what this is. Get this shit the fuck out of here, yo. Fuck this shit.
As that interaction spreads like wildfire, people calling her the crazed woke professor. But then yesterday, the New York Post sent a reporter and a photographer to her apartment to question her about it. And when she opened the door, the Post says she threatened to chop the reporter up with a machete and then held the blade to his throat.
Let's get out of here. Can't do that.
But it also did not end there, because she came back and chased them out of the building with the machete, yelling at them to get the fuck out. Even chasing these guys in a circle around their car. And then she allegedly kicked the reporter in the shins as he tried to climb inside before she finally went back into the building. And then, do you or someone you know watch trash TV, or more specifically, trash reality TV? So arguably, I don't even need to say trash there, I'm getting redundant. But I ask because there's more and more talk happening around the human cost around reality TV. And not just among the people that consume it, but even the producers of a show called Vanderpump Rules are saying that the show is exploding everywhere amid a cheating scandal that happened among the cast. And for those unfamiliar, I'm about to burn a few of your brain cells, so prepare yourself. Vanderpump Rules is a reality TV show that follows this friend group in Los Angeles. But really for this, you only need to know three people. Tom, Ariana, and Raquel. Because Tom and Ariana, they've been dating for nearly a decade. They bought a house together. They were in it for the long haul. But earlier this year, as season 10 of the show was airing, reports broke that Tom had actually been having a months-long affair with Raquel, one of Ariana's closest friends. And this news broke off a part of the fucking internet. It caused a massive uproar, tons of people furious at Tom and Raquel. And it wasn't just like some online reaction. You had people sharing like them going to a place where he owns part of it, yelling, "Fuck Tom." And that's just one example, right? We saw numerous of like the internet bleeding into real life. And in last week's finale episode, everyone got to see Ariana as she discovers the affair and confronts Tom about it. And while the situation has seemingly been a disaster, at least emotionally, for everyone involved, it's been absolutely fantastic news for the show, at least if you're talking about numbers, right? The viewership went huge, even reaching series high ratings last week during the finale episode. And now that that highly anticipated episode is aired, Ariana's on this massive press tour about the situation, speaking to outlets like the New York Times, the Today Show, clips of her on the Call Her Daddy podcast with Alex Cooper doing some numbers.
Bring me to the moment where you come across realizing he's cheated on you with Raquel. What were you thinking in the stall?
I was like shaking, like full body.
And in these interviews, even though like ultimately what we're consuming as us, it's just content, what you have is also a human being trying to unpack the biggest betrayal of her life. And of course, with all this, people are just eating it all up. And why wouldn't they? I mean, society has trained us that people are just content. But it's also important while the little gossipy bitch in our head who's gorging herself on all of this scandal is very happy. It's also important to remember there are real people involved. And you actually just recently had producers speaking about that in an interview with Variety. They're saying it's not all fun and games behind the scenes. This is a real thing that happened to someone, with Alex Baskin saying it's hard. There's a human cost, not a joyous celebration where we can send a note out to the cast and celebrate how well we're doing. And Lisa Vanderpump, who's a producer that also stars in the show, who's close with the cast, chimed in as well. Because when she was asked if she thought this season might get Emmy attention, she responded, "I don't like to think of it like that at all because it's still a very painful experience. But it's been an extraordinary series over the years. It has had many highs and so many lows, and we've stuck with it." And I don't really have a clean out to this story because even so many years in, I never know how to actually feel about any of this. And that's in large part due to the just general dumpster fire of reality TV, where you're consuming something as content, but they're also real people, but you also know a lot of places fake things, so then you question reality because you don't want to feel bad or have like an emotional connection to someone if it turns out, oh, they were actually lying to you, they were just doing like a script bit. And so it's safer to just treat someone or see them as a character rather than a real person, especially because we're already so deep into reality TV. Right? When you think back to early reality TV, most of those people didn't know what the fuck they were doing. There was no, as gamers or strategists might talk about, there was no meta, or there was no template or archetype that you could mimic. And now when I come across reality TV shows, I'm like, I don't even buy it. Whatever the plot is, I don't buy it. Whatever the concept of the show is, I don't buy it. I automatically just think I'm watching a bunch of influencers that are like, how can I use this to be able to shill products on Instagram? And so that's a big part why I try to talk about this in a conversational manner rather than trying to villainize anybody. Right? Because the situation, the industry, it provides a very justified reason to close oneself off from being vulnerable to having a feeling or a connection to someone. Though connections people have, because the parasocial relationships that have resulted from this show, but also many others, wild. But even that connects to people being seen as characters, right? How many people are on the fuck you Tom train because he represents someone that fucked you over? And this gets to be that safe public flogging of a person that represents a person that hurt you. But hopefully something of what I was just vomiting made sense to you or connected to you, because once again, this is not an argument, this is more of a conversation I want to have on this topic. And then, do you ever feel like dads get the shaft when it comes to Father's Day gifts? Are we still giving out ties and socks? Well, thanks to the fantastic and longtime partner of today's show, Ridge, I've got you covered. Y'all, Ridge has redesigned the wallet. With over 30 colors and styles to choose from, its sleek design expands to hold up to 12 cards, has room for cash while remaining as slim as possible, and it is RFID blocking, all with a lifetime guarantee. And for those who tend to lose their wallets, Ridge has the option of AirTag, so it's not lost for long. They also have tons of reliable products, like their durable key case that holds up to 6 keys, right? No more jingle with this guy, as well as cool knives, backpacks, seriously, so many things. You gotta check them out. With over 3 million customers, 50,000 plus 5-star reviews, the Ridge team is so confident that you're going to love it. They're gonna let you test drive it for 99 days. You don't love it, you just send it back for a full refund. So from this dad to you, go find the best Father's Day gift right now using my link, ridge.com/DeFranco, and save up to 40% through June 15th. That's ridge.com/DeFranco. And then the world of streamers right now is getting so frustrated, with some things affecting your bank account, some just being annoying. Like one of the biggest shifts dropping yesterday with Netflix officially cracking down on password sharing in the States, releasing a statement saying a Netflix account is for use by one household. And with that, sending an email out to subscribers warning them of the change, telling them to see what devices are logged into their account, to sign out of the ones that shouldn't have access. Also giving instruction on options regarding out-of-household users, and there are 2 choices. 1, transfer a person's profile so they can make their own Netflix account, or 2, pay an out-of-household member fee on your account, which costs $8 per month. Though notably, the price can add up really fast. But if you're on Netflix Standard, you add 1 person, that ends up being $23.50 per month. Or if you have Premium and you add 2 people, that's $36 a month. Which I will say, with those prices, I have to feel like Netflix is counting on other streamers to follow them, right? Because we're talking about numbers that are way more than other streaming services now, and the others don't have strict password sharing rules, at least yet. Or think of it along the lines of Twitter deciding, hey, you can get verified for $8 a month. No one else was out there doing that, but then all of a sudden, because the door was open, we started hearing murmurings, oh, Instagram's gonna do this. But, you know, with this new Netflix announcement, you had people saying, hey, I'm gonna cancel my subscription, arguing they're about to find out how their near monopoly on streaming was only held up by everyone just having Netflix, and how that will dry the fuck up as people cancel when they can't share with friends and family. But also in positive news for Netflix, everyone wasn't just focused on Netflix yesterday, they were focused on HBO Max, which is no longer HBO Max, it is just Max, an HBO streamer, or it's essentially a rebrand to incorporate both HBO and Discovery content. Because, you know, people were like, what if we took all the premium content from HBO Max and also threw in a bunch of garbage? People will be good little piggies and eat up all that garbage content as well. Also, it was how this went down, right? Many users knew this change was coming, but you also had the company saying, hey, a large portion of HBO Max accounts are automatically going to update to Max. But many users, including myself, actually had to download a new app, with Gizmodo saying that might have prompted the tech issues. You also had people slamming the app for crediting directors and writers under a generic creators label, right? So if you watch Raging Bull, for example, instead of the film saying, hey, it was directed by Martin Scorsese, it just lists the name as creator along with the producers and writers. With at least one person seeing this and writing, now directors like Tim Burton are content creators just like pew pew whatever the fuck, which I think is referencing PewDiePie, which if that's the case, Felix, I think that's gotta be your new name. Pew pew whatever the fuck. But with that last thing, you had outlets understandably saying, you know, this erases proper credit and it can also be misleading. Places like Mashable noting that if you go to an episode of a show like Succession, you see over a dozen names listed as creators. It includes producers, directors, but Jesse Armstrong is the sole creator of Succession. There's no label or indication of who did what for the show. So you've got writers saying, in addition to the confusion, it's just insulting and minimizes the work being done. Right? Something very, very sensitive for a lot of writers right now who are on strike. But some saying things like, the studios don't want anyone to know our names. It's easier to pay us nothing if we're faceless. And treating artists as the amorphous creators of content is not going to raise the bar for storytelling for you, the viewer. Disrespecting our work, trying to replace us with algorithms and working against the artistic process, none of this will usher in great, well, anything. But we did get an update this morning from Max and the service saying that it'll be changing this amid the backlash. And giving the statement, we agree that the talent behind the content on Max deserve their work to be properly recognized, calling this an oversight in the technical transition and saying they apologize for that mistake. But as far as how things will play out, at the end of the day, it really is going to come down to, is there any meaningful shift in money, right? Do people cancel more? Is adoption down? That's the only thing that'll actually have an impact here, because reactions, outrage, none of that really matters if there's not any sort of follow through. And often I feel like we see more examples that we live in a complainer society rather than a do something about it society. And then there are layers to this news, so listen up. Because Republican Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is calling for Republican Speaker of the House Dade Phelan to step down, which immediately alarm bells. What could he have done to make it so that he's actually being held accountable by a member of his own party? Or we live in a time where candidates openly say, I could shoot someone on the street and my poll numbers wouldn't go down. Actually, that was several years ago and things have only gotten worse. Well, it appears in this instance, it's because the guy was absolutely fucking sloshed out of his mind while presiding over the House floor. Now, I'm going to ask my editor to try to transcribe what this man is saying, but I don't have hope for it.
Mr. Campbell sent the amendment is acceptable to the author. Is there objection to the option amendment? And the amendment is adopted. The chair recognizes Mr. Johnson of Harris. Mr. Johnson of Harris to speak in opposition to the bill.
Right, so main thing, not a good look. With that video, which is from Friday, circulating widely on social media over the last few days, which also prompted Paxton to issue a statement yesterday calling for him to resign at the end of the legislative session, with him accusing Phelan of presiding, as he described it, in a state of apparent debilitating intoxication in writing. His conduct has negatively impacted the legislative process and constitutes a failure to live up to his duty to the public. And adding, his failures as Speaker have created a credibility crisis for all Republican candidates and for our entire party. Well, I hope Speaker Phelan will get the help he needs. He has proven himself unworthy of Texans' trust and incapable of leading the Texas House. With that, Paxton calling on the Texas House Committee on General Investigating to investigate. And with that, as recording, Phelan has not personally addressed the situation at all. But a huge key thing is just hours after Paxton issued that statement, that same House Investigations Committee announced that it was probing Paxton. And that because Paxton requested that the legislature approve $3.3 million in taxpayer dollars to pay a settlement with 4 former staffers who would accuse Paxton of firing them for accusing him of bribery and corruption and reporting him to the FBI. And with all that, you had a spokesperson for Phelan making a statement yesterday referencing that investigation, which, very key thing, she said had been going on since March, and claiming the motives for and timing behind Paxton's statement today couldn't be more evident. Mr. Paxton's statement today amounts to little more than a last-ditch effort to save face. Oh my god, if this is how it's starting, I can't wait to see the fallout. Are you kidding me? Grab the popcorn. And then, just when you thought Lauren Boebert could not get any dumber, she was like, we're not even close to my final form.
I left a prescription at a pharmacy once. I went to get birth control. And I was there at the counter and went to pay for it, and the price was very, very high. I said, wow, is this a 3-6-month prescription? No, ma'am, this is 1 month. And I said, it's cheaper to have a kid. And I left it there, and now I have my third son, Caden Bobert. And so I'm actually, it turned out to be a really great thing.
I don't even know where to start. Actually, I do. The whole story is based on her being unable to afford birth control when she already had 2 kids. But yeah, I'm sure the having 2 kids has nothing to do with the fact that maybe you were strapped for cash in this definitely real story that happened. And the thing is, I don't even know why Bobert tries to talk about facts. I mean, it feels like it goes without saying that buying birth control is cheaper than having a fucking child, especially a 3rd child. I've heard the jump from 2 to 3 is actually the hardest of jumps, whether more or less. But because we're dealing with Bobert, it's less of a question of if she's wrong. Rather, the better question is how wrong is she? So let's examine that, because for some people, it does not go without saying. So just looking at numbers, according to an analysis by the Brookings Institution, it costs an average of more than $300,000 to raise a child in the US over the course of 18 years. By contrast, access to free birth control has been made so much easier over the last decade since the Affordable Care Act mandated that most insurers must cover a range of contraceptives at no cost. In fact, government data shows that in the year after the ACA's contraception mandate went into effect, people saved an average of $255 annually on birth control pills, and the total out-of-pocket savings were around $1.4 billion. Additionally, according to Planned Parenthood, birth control pills cost between $0 to $50 a month, but they are totally free with most health insurance plans or if you qualify for some government programs. And at the end of the day, even if someone is not insured and they are paying on the higher end of the range, we're talking $50 a month, that is still just $600 a year or $10,800 over 18 years. Or to make it even clearer, if you are paying the highest possible amount for birth control for 18 years, it is still only around 3% of the amount you would pay to raise a whole ass fucking human being. And this whole situation would be even less dumb if it wasn't specifically coming from you, because you as an individual in Congress have used your position to try and make access to birth control even harder. With among other things, Bobert voting against the Right to Contraception Act, which would have codified access to birth control. Also, the first bill Bobert introduced in this most recent session of Congress was a measure to defund Planned Parenthood. And she's also voiced support for repealing the thing that has made it so few people actually have to pay for contraceptives. And then the last thing I have to mention today, because it's either breaking as my video is uploading or just after, Ron DeSantis is officially seeking the Republican nomination for the 2024 presidential election. We've kind of known that it's coming. We started also seeing reports there was going to be an announcement this week. His wife yesterday kicking out a teaser video. We started seeing reports that he was going to make this announcement in a Twitter space with Elon Musk today. But as of recording, to put even the slightest of doubts to bed, Ron DeSantis has now officially filed the paperwork today. And so this is gonna be a wild one. Trump v. DeSantis is officially underway. Because until this moment, it's really been just a one-sided affair with Donald Trump kind of just lashing out or making these random swings at DeSantis. And in response to this point, we've seen DeSantis kind of hitting back in literally the softest of ways. And so we're about to see, is there a massive shift in tone, though? Who knows? Right? Will DeSantis, with officially announcing swing the polls his way, can he move enough of the base? Even though Donald Trump has just a stranglehold on part of his base. I mean, we'll see. DeSantis is probably the biggest Republican challenger to Trump we've seen so far. But hey, for now, get your predictions in. What are we about to witness? Does DeSantis swing the party to him, or does Donald Trump do what he's done to pretty much every other Republican and bully them into submission? And that's where I'm going to end today's show, though I do want to note, one, if you're looking for more news, I got you covered here, but also our buddy Zed is putting out a special extra bonus video today over at youtube.com/@ZedTabani. If it's up in time, I'll link it here in the description. But hey, with that said,